Story 1. Someone sleeping next to you is someone letting their guard down next to you. It's someone saying, "You are safe." It's acceptance, even if temporary. It's a brief moment in time where two people exist together and just be. Story 2. She always falls asleep before me. It's difficult to put into words, but feeling her cuddle against me and falling asleep, feeling her warmth and breathing while I embrace her, just makes me feel so calm and at peace. Knowing that she feels safe with me to fall asleep this quickly makes me feel unreasonably proud. Story 3. Listening to your significant other's breath and holding on to them. Sleeping alone is just terrible when you can sleep with the one you love. Ever since I moved to a different country for university, I've been sleeping with a stuffed squirrel. It was a gift from my boyfriend, because it reminds me of him. I hadn't slept with any stuffed animals in years, but this was a game changer. Story 4. For me, it's being able to sleep. My wife and I have shared a bed since we were 15 and always sleep nestled against each other, usually with her head and shoulders on my chest or in a spoon cuddle. I used to be annoyingly hot in the summer when I was younger, but it hasn't been an issue since we got air conditioning about 15 years ago. Now we both have gotten so used to sleeping this way that neither of us can sleep well at all if not cuddled up to each other. As nice as that sounds, it's actually a pain because if one of us has to go away for some reason, we both end up like exhausted zombies taking sleeping pills and hugging body pillows. Story 5. Me and my friend would sleep in the same bed whenever I went to his house for a sleepover, and it was almost 4 times a week. The best thing is, if you don't pass out due to exhaustion from the day's activities, you could talk nonstop about the dumbest topics. For example, one time we talked about the pros and cons of having a hairy butt. Yep, we were in our 12th grade, having an exam, yet we discussed the importance of body hair on butt cheeks. By the way, no homo. Story 6. Holding a teddy. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger, who shares a similar love of holding a teddy when sleeping with someone else. Truly a magical experience for anyone that has done it. Story 7. There are 2 things for me. Sleeping position. My girlfriend and I have perfected the art of falling asleep. It is all about the position. You could probably call it synchronized sideways Superman. The smell. My girlfriend uses this amazing conditioner, and it smells like fresh roses. It is this one, I think. The bed just smells like it, and it lingers. I don't even mind her hair in my face. Story 8. Just not feeling alone sometimes is comforting. My girlfriend always has the best sleep when I'm around. Sometimes I like to play video games late into the night. If she has trouble sleeping, I'll usually shut the console off and just lay in bed so she can get some good rest. Occasionally, I'll give her a small back rub in a circular motion to help her relax. Story 9. Cuddling, getting closer when it's cold. Also, when I fall asleep with my girlfriend, I sometimes feel like a protector, just in case something happens. She feels safe when she's with me. Story 10. I have no idea why, but I can fall asleep so fast when sleeping with a girl. Sleeping alone, I take some minutes, but with someone, I don't even need to be tired. Solid rock right there. Story 11. I sleep better with her there. I can't explain it, really. I have less of the bed. She pulls the covers off me, and she sometimes kicks me in her sleep. I love it. Story 12. There's always a 50-50 shot that if someone breaks in downstairs, you aren't the one to get murdered checking it out. When you're alone, you have no choice, but now you can dive under the covers and make your wife go. Plus, you can press your body into her soft side and sleep like that. It's awesome. Story 13. My favorite feeling comes from the Supreme Court of the United States decision in Obergefell versus Hodges. Marriage responds to the universal fear that a lonely person might call out only to find no one there. It offers the hope of companionship and understanding and assurance that while both still live, there will be someone to care for the other. Story 14. Squeezing a breast while falling asleep is a magical thing. Life could be falling apart, but if I squeeze a happy breast while I'm going to sleep, I feel like a grown man with his house in order. Story 15. My boyfriend and I don't get to sleep in the same bed more than twice a week due to opposite schedules. But when we do, he says he just wants to feel me. This means I wake up, and he's in the middle of the bed as I'm falling off, just so he can have his hand on my back or his arm under my head. At first, I was kind of annoyed at constantly being pushed off the bed by this big 6'5" dude, but it makes him happy just to feel someone else, so I occasionally pick myself up off the floor and climb back in, laughing. Story 16. I have a single bed, and my girlfriend slept over for the first time yesterday. I let her have the bed, and I slept on the floor. It was uncomfortable, to say the least. In the middle of the night, she woke and saw me in an uncomfortable position. She woke me up and told me to get in with her. We both fell asleep next to each other, and we had a great night's sleep unexpectedly. I loved just laying next to her. She's a good one. Story 17. That feeling when you have someone so close to you and you just hug them and pull them even closer, and then that person wraps around you as well. It warms the heart, and it's such a fuzzy feeling. Story 18. Girlfriend and I live together and both would rather sleep alone. So we have different rooms and beds. She likes to sleep alone with a television or radio on. She likes the light and sound. I like cuddling, complete darkness and silence. I cuddle my cat, who crawls under the covers to spoon. She snores, and my irritable bowel syndrome makes me gassy. So, to answer your question, the best thing about sleeping in bed with another person is that you're both tired enough to fall asleep together, so the sex was probably great. Story 19. For whatever reason, I'm basically a heater, and my girlfriend gets cold easily. I sleep with 1 or no blankets, and she has like 5. A lot of times when she falls asleep before me, I can feel her being drawn to me for the heat and love, and it's like the most innocent desire, and it makes me feel awesome. Story 20. Cuddles and intimacy. I'm Little Spoon. I also get head rubs if I can't sleep. I used to be Big Spoon, but I can't be trusted near her but if we're trying to sleep. Also, we're getting married in a week. Story 21. Putting your hand in her pants, on her thigh or her back, with your other arm around her, knowing she feels safe and hearing her breathe deeply as she falls asleep, with her beautiful smell making you dissolve away into the dream world. Story 22. My fiancée always passes out before me. As she is drifting off to sleep, her small foot always seems to gravitate towards my right foot. When she finds it, she rests it there, gives a small sigh of relief, and proceeds to pass out. Girl snores like a banshee and I love it. Story 23. Grabbing any part of her leg, ankle, butt, thigh while she sleeps. I don't always sleep as well like that. Sleeping alone is great too. I look forward to work trips at times. Story 24. I wish I could do this. I've slept alone without a partner for all but 2 years worth of weekends of my adult life, and it is otherworldly difficult to fall asleep next to someone. It's become a serious issue in my current relationship. I have no idea how to get around it. I sleep poorly as it is, but next to someone, it is borderline impossible and I don't know what to do or if it has been so long doing it alone that I'll never be able to. Story 25. You guys are weirdos. I live with my girlfriend and love her to death, but if I could go back to having my own bed to sleep in, I would do it in a heartbeat. I hate being touched while I am sleeping. Story 26. Sleeping alone is honestly the best. You can snore, roll around, you don't get as warm, and you can get up in the middle of the night and not bother anyone. You can do whatever you want in bed, watch a movie, or read a book without keeping anyone else up. It would have to be a pretty special person to make me give up sleeping alone ever again. Story 27. I suffer from sleep hallucinations, both audio and visual. Sometimes when I see something, I wake up and scream, or I scream and cover my head with the quilt and back up against the wall in a sleepy effort to get away. It's easier when he stays because I back up into him, and he holds me and tells me what I'm seeing is not real. Edit. I'm female. Story 28. 1. You get to fall asleep while holding on to her. You get to watch over her because she always falls asleep first. You get to wake up next to her smile and kisses. Story 29. I'm always too warm when I'm sleeping. In fact, I'm usually warmer than most people all the time, but my significant other is the total opposite. She can't stay warm. So when we sleep in the same bed, it's great as she keeps me cool and I keep her warm. Story 30. Seeing her naked leg hanging out of the sheets, all the way up to the curve of her hip, as the morning light shines on her body. It makes my morning every morning. Story 31. I've had to sleep at my brother's apartment, and only the bed was available. As a counter to this snoring, I take medicine to go to sleep, and he wakes me up with his freight train noises. Story 32. Your mind stills. Little else is of consequence to you apart from their warmth, the slow rise and fall of their body. It can bring about a sort of tranquility that's so easy to get lost in, and so easy to become used to. Peace. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. She left a few weeks ago, and I haven't gotten more than a few hours of sleep since. I missed this more than anything. Story 33. The warmth, the sense of self-worth, the softness of her skin, the light smell of her hair, the way she tucks my arm against her chest. Her breathing really is like a lullaby. Sleeping is indescribably easier. Story 34. Not being alone. It sucks so much being alone in general, but especially at night. I turn off my light, get in bed, plug in my phone, and just lay there. My mind starts to wander, thinking about my mistakes, thinking about all the bad things I've done, and things I have to do. Just a lot of anxiety and depression. But laying in bed with someone I love, it just goes away. In everyday life, I kind of come off as cold or intimidating with a bit of strength. But in reality, I'm a soft, scared guy. And it's worse on a rainy night. Call me sensitive, but when I was a kid, I'd get awful nightmares on really stormy nights. Story 35. My husband sleeps in a crazy manner. He puts his heavy legs on me, and he snores loudly, but honestly, I cannot fall asleep without him anymore. Whenever I have trouble sleeping, he is the best cuddler and knows how to help me fall asleep. He positions himself so I cannot fall asleep without him. It's the same when he has trouble sleeping. We have differing night and day shift schedules, so when the other gets back from work, we help each other fall asleep. It has been like that for 10 years. Story 36. Never liked sleeping alone. Now that I live with my boyfriend, I'm in heaven. I always fall asleep really fast, with my head close to him and my hands holding his arm. He gets hot and doesn't like to cuddle much when we are trying to sleep, but we are always touching some part of one another. I love that we cuddle or touch or kiss for a moment in the middle of the night. Sometimes he grabs my butt with passion in his sleep. That's cute and makes me feel so good. It's like he desires me even in his sleep. Oh, and that half-asleep sex is kind of amazing too. I just love going to sleep and waking up by his side. Story 37. It's the best thing ever. Cuddles, spooning, warmth, feeling comfortable and safe with my girlfriend. She uses my arm as a pillow, lays on my chest, and crosses one leg with mine, or she pulls me close to her for a hug and I lay on her chest to sleep. Even though she says that she uses me for my warmth, I know she's joking about it. Hugs and goodnight kisses right before we sleep. Yes, amazing. Story 38. Sometimes when she is really tired, she will fall asleep while we are cuddling, and I will feel all the tension drop out of her body, and I will fall in love with her all over again. Story 39. I sleep in a constant anxious state, constantly tossing and turning and having nightmares. Any slight noise wakes me up because I think it's someone breaking into my house, which happened a couple of months ago, causing me to be exhausted all the time. For me, it's knowing I don't have to be scared and the feeling of safety when I'm with my partner. If I'm having a restless night, he'll grab me and cuddle me saying, "I've got you. It's okay. I'm here. You're safe." And honestly, it's the best feeling in the world. The downside is that we can be watching a film in bed or watching a television series during the day, and I instantly fall asleep, so I get moaned at a lot for coming around here and doing nothing but sleeping. Story 40. When they unconsciously kiss your back or head or murmur your name, or grab your hand or finger and gently rub it, sleepily. I also love waking up, rolling over, and watching him sleep in the mornings. He's precious. Story 41. The feeling of being, I'm the big spoon. I'm protecting you. The feeling of safety and comfort. Knowing that I can provide someone those two things is all I need for a good night's sleep. Story 42. Nothing makes me happier than my boyfriend waking me up with kisses. Usually, I am up first, so on the weekends I try to sleep extra. As long as we are not hungover, He wakes up before me and gets bored without my attention. It's so annoying because I am not good at waking up, but once I realize what's happening, I completely melt. Story 43. I have fairly bad insomnia, not sure why, but holding my sleeping girlfriend cuts the time it takes me to fall asleep in half. Every once in a while, she spends a weekend out of town for work, and by the time she gets back, I'm either a sleepless mess or hungover from getting faded all weekend to fall asleep. Story 44. My ex, even when cuddling became less frequent, we still held hands or rested a hand on each other in bed. It was reassuring without being clingy, too hot, or uncomfortable long term. Hearing someone say they love you in their sleep was another high point. On the flip side, I'm 6 feet 3 inches and somewhat protective of my space. I absolutely love using every square inch of my queen-size bed most nights, spreading out fully. Story 45. My wife falls asleep on me every night. I scratch her back and she falls asleep on my chest every night. I like that. I wake up and look over, and she's there. So nice. Story 46. My ex had the softest skin and hair, and whatever she used for body wash smelled so nice. She knew exactly how to cuddle up to me, and sometimes the tired, can't sleep sex and the morning sex were nice. But I really loved the cuddling and feeling so close to someone. It's true intimacy. I always cuddled a stuffed animal when I was little, and now it's usually a pillow.